Where am L? Naruto said to himself as he sat up, only to clutch his eyes. Damn it! He exclaimed. He looked around and noticed he was in the hospital. He looked at the window and noticed it was in the middle of the night. He sighed until he heard a slight snoring. He looked over to find Satsuki in a chair, her head propped up against the wall of the room. He smiled warmly until the events of the massacre came back to him. Tears flowed slowly down his face as he cried silently. Toussaint, Kazan, Itachi and I. He thought. His new Manjiku Sharingan activated. He gasped as he saw his eyes in the mirror. He went to touch them when a voice said something. Like your eyes? Naruto turned quickly to see a man that was half white and half black with one green eye and one yellow one. Above his head was a Venus flytrap-like thing. Hi. I'm Zetsu. We were sent by Madara-sama, but he is already here. If Naruto was alarmed by the plant-like man, then he didn't show it. His face was void of emotion. He heard a slight cough. He turned and found an old man with gray hair and a cane scythe. One eye was not visible because his hair blocked it from view, but his visible eye seemed cold and calculating. Who are you? Naruto asked, his voice keeping itself into a IOW whisper. The old man chuckled. I am merely an Uchiha ghost. But you know me as Madara Uchiha. He croaked out. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. That's impossible, you're supposed to be dead. You're too damn old to be alive. Madara smirked before he activated his Sharingan. Does this prove anything? Naruto wanted to deny it, but the evidence was too much to say it was false. Fine. You're Madara Uchiha. But what do you want from me? Naruto asked. Is that any way to address your great-grandfather? He asked with an amused smile as Naruto's jaw hung open slightly. Seeing the confused boy, Madara continued. You see, your birth mother, Kushina Uzumaki, is not your blood relative. You see, at the time, she and Minato thought that she was infertile. That stupid Senju medic had said it was that, but it was not. Kushina was devastated, but her best friend, Kasumi Uchiha, donated an egg to Kushina. And I was that one egg. And she wasn't infertile. That's how Naruto and Minma are here. Am I correct? Madara slowly nodded. And you were my real Kazan's grandfather? Another nod from Madara. Naruto hung his head, processing the new information. This is a lot to take in, I know. But now that you've unlocked your Manjiku Sharingan, I've come to you to train you. I've had Zetsu watch you from afar. Your pain and suffering, and your love and joy. He has seen it all. But I have one important detail. What is it, Gigi? Naruto said. Madara smiled at the term Naruto used. L think Gigi is grandfather, right? Your biological mother had a son. His name was Obito Uchiha. He is your older brother. Naruto's head shot up. I have a brother? Madara nodded. I've been training him. He will prepare things for you with a special group that you will soon lead. You can meet him when we leave. Wait, we're leaving? But this village is my home, and what about Satsuki-chan? He said, gesturing towards the sleeping girl. Madara sighed. It's not that bad. You will see her soon. Besides, don't you want to? Strong enough to protect her? Naruto's blood froze. Couldn't protect Tusan, Kazan, or Itachi and I, but I'll be damned if Slash can protect Satsuki-chan. Naruto nodded and threw off the blanket. Turn around and let me change. I'm coming with you, Gigi. I needed to get away from this PLA. For a while anyways, too many bad memories. Madara chuckled at Naruto's still childlike behavior before he and Zetsu turned around. Naruto changed quickly and said it was okay to the old man and the plant. I want you to promise me one thing, Naruto said. Madara nodded, agreeing. I want Satsuki-chan to be protected at all times and to keep me updated at least once a month. That's acceptable. Now come, your brother is here to take us to the hideout. A vortex came quietly into the room as a tall man came into view with an orange mask. Hello, old man. Zetsu. Little brother. His voice rang out. Naruto waved slightly before he quickly took a pen and wrote a message to Satsuki and placing it on his pillow. Naruto nodded, ready to go. Naruto felt himself sucked into the vortex and then sucked into a dark room. Madara walked over to his huge chair and sat. Zetsu, get Naruto a bed. He will be staying with us for a long time. Naruto, get to know your brother. Tomorrow, I will start your training. Naruto walked over to Obito, who seemed to be meditating, and sat down in front of him and stared at him. He looked weird without his mask. Both of his eyes were closed. When his eyes opened, he looked at Naruto before extending his hand. We haven't been formally introduced. I'm Obito Uchiha, your biological big brother. He smiled slightly. Naruto smiled and shook the extended hand. Naruto Uchiha. Nice to meet you, Obito and I. Obito had a genuine smile cross his face and his hand ruffled Naruto's hair, much to his annoyance. I'm sorry for what happened to your family. I wanted to stop Danzo's rude agents, but by the time I came, it was too late. Naruto nodded. It's not your fault, Obito and I. It was that bastard Danzo. After I'm done training, he will die. Then, together, we'll achieve true peace. He exclaimed. Obito nodded with a grin. Together? Together. They bumped fist. Madara watched the two brothers with a smile on his face. Yes. Together we will bring true peace. He shifted his gaze to Naruto. Let our journey begin. Ouch. You stupid son of a dash, Naruto exclaimed before he was hit on the head by Madara's cane. No cursing. Naruto rubbed his head with one hand and covered his eyes with the other. Naruto grumbled out a few inaudible words. What was that? Madara said, raising his voice slightly. L said, you didn't tell me using my Manjiku Sharingan would hurt so bad. Naruto yelled. Obito, who was sitting on a nearby chair, burst out laughing. Don't worry, Otudo, he did the same thing to me when I first gained my Manjiku. Obito said in between laughs. Naruto glared at him, wiping the blood away from his eye. I'll hate you, Obito and I. He said plainly before standing up. Obito grinned. Love you too. He sang. Madara chuckled before he called for Zetsu. The plant-like thing came from the ground and crouched over beside Madara. Yes, Madara-sama? It asked. Madara leaned toward Zetsu and whispered. Get the Manjiku eyes ready to transplant into Naruto's eyes. I need him with the EMS as soon as possible. Zetsu nodded before disappearing back into the ground. Obito, I want you to find out all of Naruto's Manjiku abilities. Then, train him in some Tai and ninjutsu. Obito nodded before he and Naruto turned to go to the training room. Here you go, Madara-sama, Zetsu said before handing a jar with 2 eyes in it. Aren't those your original eyes? Madara took the jar and smiled. Yes. Obito has Izuna's eyes. I have Obito's eye along with a stolen Uchiha eye. And Naruto will have my original eyes. He is the key to peace. Zetsu's eyes widened. Giving him your eyes will make him powerful. Madara nodded. Again. Naruto has the potential to surpass all of us. I'm here to tap right in to it. A few hours later. How come you get all the good ones? Obito whined childishly while Naruto just laughed slightly. Mean, come on, I only have Kamui. And I don't have my other Sharingan to have Susanoo. And here you have all the other cool ones. You lucky bastard. What is it what I have it again? Naruto asked, rubbing it in Obito's face. Obito sighed. You have Tsukuyomi, Kamui, Amaterasu, be able to manipulate the Amaterasu flames, and fucking Susanoo. You lucky bastard. That's almost all the abilities one can have with the Manjiku, I think. Naruto's grin got even wider if possible. Not sure if this is right or not, but whatever, didn't find a lot of info on the Manjiku. Does this mean I'm stronger than you and Gigi? Obito burst out, laughing. Hell no. You still need to train in these areas. But we'll wait till you get new eyes so your eyes won't hurt anymore. Naruto backed up a little. Get new eyes? Why would I need that? Naruto asked, fear tingling in his stomach. Obito laughed. Exactly what I said. Soon you are going to get new eyes, I think. You're getting Madara's eyes, but we'll get to the importance of that later. You have to get new eyes transplanted in you so you can have the eternal Manjiku Sharingan. That way, you can use it without any negative affects. Obito explained. Oh. Naruto said more to himself than to Obito. Well, I guess that's good. When is it happening? Right now. A voice said from behind the two brothers. Naruto turned around to see Zetsu standing. He nodded slightly before looking at Obito. Is there anything I should worry about? Obito shook his head. You'll be fine. See you soon, he said before he knocked Naruto unconscious. You are going to be a powerful boy, Naru. Just you wait, he muttered before he took the boy to Madara. Let's get this started. Konoha. Hey Satsuki-chan, sorry I wasn't here when you woke up. Wish I could be here for you, but I need to get stronger. I need to make sure something like the massacre will never happen again. I'm going to bring peace to the world. And /M hoping you 11 wait for me when /GE back. I'll miss you and don't bother looking for me. Love, Naruto. Satsuki punched the wall again as she read the message with tears flowing down her face. How? She croaked out, how could he just leave me like this? We were supposed to have each other, she whispered. Kakashi put a hand on her shoulder, but she jerked it off of her. She then turned and faced Kakashi. Train me, she simply stated. Naruto is relying on me to get stronger. So I will. Kakashi could only nod. Satsuki walked out, swearing she'd see him again. 3 months later. Susanoo. A voice rang out. A huge body with no head surrounded Naruto as he tried to keep control of the massive being. The Susanoo was completely black with 2 swords on its back. Don't know how to explain how it looks. Naruto turned around and drew one of the swords and cut a huge boulder in half that Obito had provided by an earth jutsu. Naruto deactivated the Susanoo and put his hands on his knees, panting. Good job. You got 2/3 of the Susanoo done. One more tier before you have a full one. Madara praised. Naruto nodded before wiping the sweat off his forehead. He deactivated his EMS, showing his dark eyes. That's more tiring than it looks, Naruto said. It's been 3 months since he had left the village with Madara. After he got his eternal Manjiku Sharingan, he had been training vigorously with his techniques, including developing his mokuton and Sharingan. He now practiced with dual-wielding swords and changed his attire. All black, with a cloak that covered his back and his sides, but showed the front of his body and his legs. Imagine Kirito's attire from SAO. Imagine fighting a Hokage who can do that with mere wood. It's called the Laughing Buddha Jutsu. You can try to learn it later, and then combine it with Susanoo, Madara said with a slight smirk on his face. Naruto-sama, Zetsu said. Naruto and Madara turned to the plant. Like man, Konoha is under attack by the Sand Village and the newly developed Sound Village. I think they plan to release Shikaku and destroy and kill everyone in it. Naruto's eyes widened before he turned to Madara. Please, Madara Gigi, you have to let me help. I can't watch as my village is destroyed, Naruto pleaded. Madara closed his eyes and pinched the bridge of his nose before he nodded. Be careful, Naruto-kun. And come right back, he said, making Naruto smile before he disappeared in a kamui. Don't die, Naruto. Don't you dare die, Obito whispered. Mother wants your blood. Give her your blood, Gaara screamed, as he attacked Satsuki with his sand repeatedly. Satsuki was exhausted, and the red-headed boy didn't seem to be at all. He seemed energized. Damn it. It can't form another Chidori, she muttered as she dodged the enormous sand claw the boy had on his body. Satsuki fell on one knee, breathing heavily. Die, Gaara screamed while laughing manically as he shot sand at the Uchiha, hitting and pinning her to a tree. The sand started to squeeze and her vision got hazy. Is this it for me? She thought before she heard a chirping sound and found herself free from the grips of the sand. I leave you alone for a few months and you're trying to get killed? A voice said from in front of her. She looked up, vision still slightly hazy, until it cleared up to reveal Naruto. Hey, Satsuki-chan, he said as he smiled warmly at her. Naruto-kun, she whispered, not quite believing her eyes. Naruto turned around and faced Gaara. You attacked my friend, and I cannot forgive that, he said as he walked towards the redhead. Naruto-kun, he's too strong, she shouted, but her warning was Ignored. I've gotten stronger, Satsuki-chan. I can handle this guy. Satsuki's eyes. Who are you? Do you wish to feed mother? Gaara said with his head tilted. Naruto shook his head. I've not come to feed Shikaku. I've come to take you down. And I will do the former, I promise you that, he said as he charged Gaara and went to punch him in the face, but to his surprise, the sand blocked his punch an inch before he reached his face. The sand reached around his arm slowly, but Naruto planted his feet on Gaara's face and shot up, doing a backflip and landing on the trunk of the tree while he used his chakra to stick to it to not fall. Naruto made a single one-handed sign before more than 100 clones surrounded the trees, much to Satsuki and Gaara's surprise. Wood style, tree limb technique, the group of Narutos said as hundreds of tree limbs shot out and impaled Gaara's sand, causing the boy to get a slight worried look. But the look soon turned to joy. Yes. Make me feel alive. Let me show you my true power. Gaara shrieked in a crazy joy as he made a hand sign, and he grew bigger until he looked like the Shikaku demon itself. Instead, he was at the top, waist up. Naruto smirked slightly before he made a few hand signs and cut his thumb with his sword. You want to get big? I can get big. Summoning Jutsu, he yelled as he appeared at eye level of Gaara's new form on top of Manda. Why have you summoned me? Manda said. Naruto patted Manda's head slightly. I'll need your help in taking down Shikaku, Naruto said plainly. Manda shook his head. I am a snake, Naruto. I cannot fight a tailed beast, even the weakest of them. This is a toad's job. I am truly sorry, and I will pay you back soon, Manda said solemnly. Naruto nodded in understanding before Manda dispelled. Well, damn, he whispered as he saw Gaara tower over the trees. He looked at Satsuki. Any plans? She shook her head before she was struck across the forest by the sand. I want you, boy. Come make me feel alive, Gaara screamed at him. Naruto looked at the spot Satsuki was just standing in before his rage took control of him. His EMS flared and red chakra flowed freely around his body. Susanoo, he whispered before he grew to the same height of Gaara. Naruto looked at the Susanoo until he realized one thing. He had completed it. He glared at Gaara before drawing both of the chakra swords from his back and swung the sword at one of the arms Shikaku had, cutting it off completely before doing the same to his tail. Gaara roared in pain before he made a single hand sign. Die, he whispered. Play possum jutsu, he said before he fell asleep, and Shikaku quickly took control. Ha ha ha, he. I'm finally out, it screamed. Naruto raised an eyebrow. If he just went to sleep, then Shikaku takes over? So if / wake him up, Shikaku will leave? Naruto thought before going to test his theory. He made the huge chakra being he was inside of run towards the demon. Wake up, bitch, he said before his oversized fist slammed into the figure of Gaara. No, I just got out. Damn you all to hell, Shikaku screamed as he soon disappeared along with the sand as Gaara fell. Naruto deked the Susanoo and walked over to Gaara, drawing his sword from its sheath on his back. You hurt my Satsuki-chan, and I can't forget that, he said as he closed in on Gaara. He lifted his sword and slammed it down next to Gaara's head. But you are lost. And I will not kill you. Gaara looked up weakly at Naruto. How or why are you so strong? He croaked out. Naruto smiled a little. Because I have people I need to protect, that is when one is truly strong. Gaara nodded before two sand nin landed behind him. One holding a fan and another a kunai. Lay off of our brother or we'll kill you. The one with blonde hair said. Naruto gave them an amused look. Like you could. I just took down Shikaku, and by the looks of it, you were scared of him, he said. But take him before those leaf nins get here. The blonde nodded as she and the other sand nin grabbed Gaara before they jumped away. Naruto sighed and went to turn around before being tackled to the ground into a hug. I missed you, you dummy, Satsuki whispered as she cried silently into his shirt. Naruto rubbed her back slightly to comfort her before he returned the hug. I have to go, he whispered. Satsuki looked up at him with teary eyes. Why? She said, holding back a sob. Naruto shook his head before he embraced her. I have to get stronger so I can protect you. I can't let you die. You're one of the few things I have left, he whispered into her ear. Satsuki shook silently in his arms before she looked at him in his eyes. She leaned forward and closed her eyes as Naruto did the same. Their lips were about to connect before they heard some shouting. Satsuki! Kakashi yelled. Naruto gave her a pleading look before she nodded sadly. He gave her a quick kiss on the forehead before he used Kamui to go away. Hey, are you all right? Kakashi asked. Satsuki nodded her head and walked back to the village, slightly heartbroken. With Madara and company. Naruto appeared in front of Madara from his Kamui with a slight smile. L defeated Shikaku Gigi. It was kinda easy to be honest. I also completed my Susanoo. Madara and Obito smiled, relieved the boy was safe and sound. This is good news. Now that you mastered your Sharingan in 3 months, which is very surprising to be honest, you can now start training in all the categories now. Madara said as Obito nodded. Naruto nodded slightly. Whatever it takes to become stronger, to protect Satsuki and Obito. And I, he declared as his fist hit the open air. Obito laughed. Okay then, let the true training begin. 5 years later, Naruto is 18. Naruto was on his knees in front of his grandfather, slow tears falling down his face. Madara Uchiha is going to die. Do not cry, Naruto-kun, it saddens me to see you like this. Madara wheezed out, his eyes looking at Naruto warmly. Do not forget your training. Naruto wiped the tears away with his sleeve before steeling his nerves and emotions. Yes, sir, he said, his voice slightly weak. Madara placed his shaking hand on Naruto's head. I've defied death long enough. It is finally my time. I was supposed to die before you turned 6, but I toughed it out because I knew I would have to train you. Naruto nodded again. I've trained you to be a true shinobi. You have your tools and training. And you have your goals. Now, Obito has been leading an organization called the Akatsuki. We agreed that once you were ready, you would take over the leadership of it. Naruto's eyes widened. What are the goals of this organization? Naruto asked. Madara smiled sadly. To capture the village's military power. The tailed beast. If we take them away, we can achieve true peace. Naruto was about to speak, but Madara quickly cut him off. You will not have to give up the Kyuubi. It would be disastrous if you had to. You just gained control of its chakra. Why would you give up power you might need? Naruto nodded, his question being answered. To achieve this peace, the Jinchuriki will have to die. They are too dangerous and their villages will try to use them to stop our quest. Now Naruto, my grandson, do you accept this burden and responsibilities of leading the Akatsuki? Naruto nodded again. Of course, Gigi. I won't fail. I will achieve peace. Flashback. A 25-year-old Naruto had been thinking for a while. What is the peace his grandfather was talking about? He decided to ask. Well, I wanted to use the infinite Tsukuyomi on the moon, so everyone will be in a dream forever. But that would cause a lot of unneeded destruction. Now, we will bring down the elemental nations and create a new nation, with everyone in it with no prejudiced people or armies or shinobi wars and unnecessary deaths. Madara said passionately. Naruto smiled. That sounds cool, Gigi. He exclaimed, causing Obito, who was behind him, to ugh. Flashback end. No you will. Madara said before he started coughing relentlessly. Goodbye, my grandson. Madara said before his eyes closed slowly. Madara Uchiha was dead. Naruto let another tear fall from his eyes before he picked up his mask and put it on his face. Obito's mask in the fourth ninja war. L will bring peace. I swear it. Naruto said before Obito came from behind him in a kamui. Are you ready? Naruto nodded his head. Indeed, Obito and I. Let's go meet my new minions. Obito smiled. Beneath his orange mask, he was proud at how far his brother had come. He was powerful, more powerful than him. Madara was right. Obito thought before they both disappeared into a kamui. Sometime later in AIM, Obito appeared before the two Akatsuki members, Pain, or Nagato, and Konan. Those were the two who actually knew he was the leader of the organization. Welcome, Madara-sama, Konan said in her usual emotionless tone. Pain said nothing as he eyed Obito with his Rinnegan. Greetings. Obito, disguised as Madara Uchiha, said. His voice was now deeper and sounded more threateningly. Gather the rest of the Akatsuki members, I wish to reveal something to them. Konan and Pain nodded before they went to the room and summoned the rest of the Akatsuki members. Few hours later. What are we doing here, Leader-sama? Kakuzu asked, slightly annoyed because he was busy. We are here to show you the true leader of the Akatsuki. Antu stepped into the light, his mask on. Stop joking. There's no way in hell that dumbass is the leader. Deidara asked. Obito glared at Deidara with his one Sharingan eye visible. You will shut up and show respect. I've had quite enough of you as it is. Everyone except for Konan and Pain had their eyes either widened or narrowed at the person they thought was a dumbass. Named Toby. We are here to reveal my identity. Now, if this leaks out to anyone, he said as he pumped tons of KL into the air, making many of the members sweat. You will die, he said plainly. My name is not Toby nor Madara Uchiha. Konan and Pain narrowed. their eyes at the now fake. My name is Anto Uchiha, and I am not the true leader of the Akatsuki. I have been preparing it for the true leader. Naruto camued into the middle of the room, his EMS showing brightly as he looked around at each member carefully. He turned to the Obito. Is this it? I expected more. He said softly, but not too soft for everyone not to hear. What do you mean, you heathen? Hayden yelled. Have you any idea who we are? Naruto focused his eyes on Hayden. The only reason you dare to speak out against me is because you're immortal. Tell me, do you feel pain? Naruto said, glaring at Hayden. Hayden smirked. Yes. I love pain. Naruto smirked under his mask. Good. Tsukuyami. He whispered. Not 3 seconds later, Hayden had fell to his hands and knees. You may have felt that all of that was real, but if you speak out against me again, I will make it a reality. Naruto turned to the rest of the group. My name is Naruto Uchiha. I can be your best friend, or your greatest nightmare. I've been trained by many people, one of them being the real Madara Uchiha, but he is now deceased. Any questions? Raise your hand if you have any. Feeling childish, but still curious, Konan raised her hand. What is it? I have 2 questions. Naruto nodded, indicating for her to go on. How old are you? And can you defeat a god? Naruto narrowed his eyes at the girl. My age doesn't matter, but since I'm pretty sure everyone wishes to know, none of your business. For your second question, which god would I be facing? Konan let a smirk grace her face. Why, Pain here, of course, she said, motioning to Pain. Naruto narrowed his eyes. I see no god. I see a man who wishes to be a god. You may have the eyes of a god, but you aren't one. Do not make me repeat myself, or I will go to your little house on the hill. Pain and Conan's eyes widened severely before Pain rose his hand. Almighty push, he said simply as gravity pushed against Naruto's form. Naruto simply channeled chakra to the soles of his feet before the push was done before disappearing. Pain looked around the room but found none before a hand protruded out from his body. Everybody in the room seemed shocked to the core. Naruto pulled his hand out of the body and walked away. Try that again, and I'll do that to your real body, Nagato. By the way, I avoided vital spots of your deceased friend so you can use him for your path still. Naruto walked to the chair and sat down and leaned his head on his closed fist. Sasori and Deidara will continue to team up. Your mission is to get the one tails from Gaara of the Sand. Hayden and Kakuzu, you will go after the 2 tails Yujito ni. Kisame and Obito, you will go get the 3 tails from Yagura. From what I heard, Mist is in a civil war. Zetsu, you will go scout for a weakness in the 4 tails Rashi. Pain, you will go for the 5 tails. I want you to not destroy any of the village if need be. If you do, there will be consequences. Konan and I will go for the 6 tails Utakata. Last I heard he was in Mist. He muttered the last part to himself. Everyone is dismissed except for Pain, Konan, and Obito. Everyone left the room until the 4 in the room stared at each other. I can tell you are not happy. What is wrong? Naruto asked as he looked at Konan and Pain. You claim that you can beat a god. Yet you do not understand pain. Pain said in a monotone voice. Naruto scowled underneath his mask. L don't know pain? I know more than you do. I watched my whole clan get wiped out by a man named Danzo Shimura. I saw my Tusan and my cousin's corpse, and then I watched as my brother died, protecting me. I was tortured as a child because I was a so-called demon. You know nothing, Naruto said, pumping the air with more KL than Obito could ever do. The air grew cold and Konan was having trouble breathing. Now, both of you leave. You are annoying me. Konan and Pain stood up and walked away. Do you like them? Obito asked in an amused voice. Naruto took off his mask and glared at him. Not necessarily. Aside from the four who actually spoke, the rest are fine. The rest are just annoyances, Naruto said plainly. Obito nodded. Before he looked at Naruto. Are you going to kill Danzo? Naruto nodded with vigor. I'm going to kill him before I go for the 6 tails. I need to get close to that Konan girl and learn of Nagato's weaknesses. He may not be on our level, but he may hinder our plans. Obito nodded before standing up and walking out the door. See you later, Leader-sama, he said loudly before he left. Naruto sighed. Soon, Danzo, very soon. You will die by my hand, he thought before he went to go train. Naruto was sitting in his chair at the Akatsuki base, planning out every detail of how and when he would take Danzo out of this world. Zetsu appeared from the ground next to Naruto. Naruto looked up from his work and looked at Zetsu. Report? He had Zetsu see what his precious Satsuki had been doing. Once a month for 4 years. He wanted to know what was going on with her. It seems that the inevitable is coming, Naruto-sama. They are going to enact the CRA on your girlfriend. Naruto smacked the white half of Zetsu, who had been a friend to him and much less of a servant. She's not my girlfriend, damn it, he muttered. He stood up and took off his mask. Guess my plans for Danzo's death are coming sooner than planned. When is the meeting? Zetsu smirked. In 5 minutes, he said. Now it was Naruto's turn to smirk. Perfect, he whispered before he disappeared in a Kamui. In Konoha, Satsuki Uchiha sat on the Uchiha clan head seat with a look of pure horror and disgust on her face as Danzo spoke about getting her several husbands to get the Uchiha clan up and running. I'm not going to be turned into a breeding ground, Danzo, she said, as she slammed her hand on the table. Danzo could only smirk. You have no choice. You're the last Uchiha and we need their military power in the village. You will bear several children and that is that, he said. Minato looked at Satsuki with a sad smile on his face. I'm sorry, was all he could say. Satsuki was about to argue more before a swirling vortex appeared in the middle of the room. A man around 6 feet appeared as the vortex went away. Hello, Konoha, the stranger said in a deep voice. He had black all over his face so no one could recognize him. Minato shot up before the stranger rose his hands. I'll mean no harm to you, he said as he turned to each of the council members before he looked at Danzo. Well, most of you, he said as a smirk graced his lips. Danzo narrowed his eyes. Who are you, boy? he said with a sneer. Naruto glared at the old war hawk before he activated his EMS. Who are you calling a boy, old man? Don't you dare think you're above me, you coward, he snarled. 5 ANBU appeared from their hiding places and all pointed their swords at the stranger. How do you have the Sharingan? Minato asked, his eyes steadying the boy in front of him. Naruto poked the tip of one of the swords, pointing at him. So you recognized? I have the Sharingan because I was born with it, of course. I activated when I was little, he said. He poked the sword again before one of the ANBU spoke. Poke my sword again and it'll be the last thing you touch when you're alive. The stranger chuckled with amusement. AHS, that was good. You couldn't even touch me with that sword if I didn't want you to. Now put that up before I take it from you. None of the ANBU moved. The stranger sighed dramatically before he grabbed the blade of the sword and yanked it out of the ANBU's hands and using the hilt of said sword to crash one of the other ANBU's mask and knocking him out. He dodged the sword swipe before chopping the ANBU's neck, knocking her out. 3 more left. He parried one of the swords with a kunai and grabbed them by the neck and using the body as a human shield. 2 more left. He punched one of them so hard into the wall he made a huge dent in the concrete wall. 1 more left. The foolish ANBU charged at him while releasing a battle cry. The stranger rose a single eyebrow before he ducked under the man and kicked him in the balls, making every man in the room wince and cringe at the same time. That was a coward shot, the man said as he collapsed. The stranger laughed. We're ninja. We use dirty tactics, the man nodded. True, he spoke. Before he passed out, the stranger looked at the ANBU sword in his hand before swinging it in the air. This is a nice sword, he said before he threw the sword at Danzo and cut off his bandaged arm. Minato stood up. What is the meaning of this? He shouted. The stranger didn't acknowledge his question but chose to walk towards Danzo instead. El saw my mother's and my father's corpse on the ground in my own house. I saw my clan killed, the stranger said heatedly, tears flowing down his face behind his mask. El saw my own brother die protecting me from your men, he yelled. Everyone's eyes widened at the stranger's words. You Danzo Shimura are behind my clan's death. I watched your men slice down my brother. Naruto unsheathed the sword on his back. And you will pay. Danzo jumped up and ran to the door only to be stopped by the boy. He stabbed Danzo in the heart. Let it be known that I avenged his clan. Satsuki's eyes showed complete and utter shock. He then glared at Minato and the rest of the council. And there will be no CRA on Satsuki Uchiha. Koharu decided to speak up. Listen, you brat, I don't know how you know all this stuff, but you are to be out to death for the murder of Danzo. She smirked evilly. And she will be under the CRA. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Lightning built up in his hands before he pointed it at the women. Chidori true spear. He yelled as the lightning shot out and pierced her heart. He then turned to Hamura. Amaterasu. He whispered as black flames engulfed the elderly man. He then turned to Minato. If Satsuki Uchiha is enacted under the CRA, he smiled wickedly under his mask. Konoha shall fall. He glanced at Satsuki before he disappeared in a Kamui. Akatsuki base. Did you kill Danzo? Zetsu asked. Naruto took off his mask with a smirk. Indeed I did. The fool didn't even put up a fight like I thought he would. Then again, I did eliminate his chances of escape by Izanagi. By cutting off his arm, he said as he rubbed his chin. He clapped his hands together. There's been a change in plans. Konan can go get Ichtakata by herself. She seems capable. I will go after the Hachibi. It's rumored he has full control of his tailed beast, he said with a smirk. But as duel, so we shall see who will win.